All right, another episode of the Nerdy Virgin podcast. My name is Joshua Snyder. I did not lose my virginity until I was 32, and that tells you everything you need to know about me. Yes, I've seen the new videos of the latest starship to appear in Star Trek Picard. I believe it's pronounced the Zheng He. That was the ship that Commander Riker, or I should say acting Captain Riker, was put in charge of, and he was put in charge of the fleet of ships that came and saved the day at the end of Star Trek Picard Season 1. And now people have rendered the ship. There's some computer-generated renders of the ship on YouTube, and people are talking about the design of the ship and fawning all over it. And I, my friends, am one of those people. I'm taking a sip of LaCroix, lime-flavored. It's, as with all other healthy or healthy-ish lime-flavored sparkling beverages, it's an opportunity for me to remind myself that I'm not drinking Sprite, which is what I'd rather be drinking, but Sprite is not healthy. And I'm trying to be healthy so that I can live longer. And if I live longer, then I'll still be dead anyway. And I will have not enjoyed Sprite as much. Perfect plan. I'm rambling. What do I want to talk about today? I want to talk about... excuse me, I just burped because of the LaCroix. I was drinking the LaCroix and I burped. Sorry. I should probably edit that out. Folks, that's why this is a podcast and not a stand-up special. There's going to be some hiccups. There's going to be some burps. Mistakes are going to be made. And I'm here to capture them all for you as a record. So 1,000 years from now, when people are studying the ancient United States civilization and they come across my podcasts, they will go, well, we see why this didn't last. I want to work on a more solid 5-minute set that hopefully I will one day do on a late night show. I came to the realization this morning that yes, I do want to do a late night set. Apparently, I want to be a comedian. That's the realization I made today. It's very depressing. I was trying to talk myself out of it, but I just can't. So I have to work on this 5-minute set, and I want to talk about being coming from an alcoholic family, or there's alcoholism in my family. I'm slurring. I am sober while I'm doing this. That's what makes it scary. All of this is being done while sober. And I don't drink because I saw what alcoholism can do, and it was very disturbing to see the pain and suffering that it can cause. And so I decided I don't want to drink. So I don't drink. And I have a friend of mine who said, well, just because you have a family member or 2 or 10 who are alcoholics, that doesn't mean you are an alcoholic. And I remember when she said that to me, I got really angry at that thought. Because, first of all, there's a 25% chance that as the son of an alcoholic, I will be an alcoholic. 25% chance. 25%. So if I take a drink, that's 1 in 4 chance that I will be an alcoholic. If I play Russian roulette, there's a 1 in 6 chance that I will blow my brains out. And no one would ever suggest that. That would not be, no, you should, nobody would casually say, you know what, you should try Russian roulette. 1 in 6 chance. Why not? It looks so fun in The Deer Hunter. Alcoholism, 1 in 4 chance. And this person's saying, give it a spin, give it a roll, give it a shot. But at the other end of the spectrum, I think the point she's trying to make is that I shouldn't deny myself I shouldn't avoid experiencing life out of fear. And I guess my response is, I don't need to experience all life. I don't, am I missing out on all the things that alcoholism has to offer, which is to be the next Noah Coward and to, go to orgies? Because to be sober at an orgy, probably not a good thing, I would imagine. I don't know. That's a good question. How many orgies are sober orgies? How many orgies involve alcohol and drugs? I would imagine, if I had to guess, more of the orgies, more on the ratio of orgies that are sober versus the orgies where people are drinking and taking drugs. The drinking and taking drugs orgies, there's probably more of those than the sober orgies. Because if everybody is sober at an orgy, is it an orgy? I think it becomes a support group at that point. I'm not sure. I don't mean to make assumptions to people who do orgies. I just think that the kind of the places where alcohol is consumed, the situations, bars, nightclubs, dance clubs, all that kind of stuff, which I never go to. I think the point maybe that she's trying to make is, shouldn't you at least give it a try to experience it? And then if I hate it, I never do it again, but at least try it. And sorry, I'm taking another sip of LaCroix. Not a sip, more like a gulp. Or as I like to call it, LaCroix. Shouldn't I at least try it once, see if I like it, and then decide never do it again? Well, as luck would have it, or as fate would have it, I should say. Fate, luck, same thing. Or is it not the same thing? That's a whole different podcast. Fate versus luck. A couple of years ago, we were doing the birthday celebration stuff at Flappers, and I thought I took a swig of what I thought was alcohol-free champagne, but it turned out to be the actual champagne, the champagne with alcohol in it. And it was a big swig, and I noticed that I suddenly just felt a little bit calmer. And I was able to, do everything I needed to do, and my brain was still working, but I was calmer. And that really scared me, because it really was nice to feel calmer. And that is why I never want to take another drink, because I agree with this person who told, drink it. I see what I'm missing out on. I totally get it. And that tells me I should definitely not drink. So I guess accidentally I kind of did what she suggested. And my takeaway is nope, I can't do it. I don't want to take the risk. I gave it a try. It was delightful, and that's why I can't do it again. By the way, I'm not saying that alcohol in and of itself is bad. I'm not saying that other people shouldn't drink. I'm not saying that at all. In fact, other people should drink. It's the only way to deal with somebody like me who never drinks and is a nervous wreck. So, please, you're going to have to drink twice as much to deal with me. You can take my portion. Go ahead. You take that. And I don't do drugs either. It's the same kind of thing. When there's a history of substance abuse, I don't want to go down that path. And I'm 39 years old. I've never done it before. Hopefully I'll never need to. I think the one exception I might make is if I'm in severe enough pain, I would probably take something for the pain. But other than that, and this is not a request, God. Please don't. Let's avoid this if possible. But I don't. In fact, whenever I would get a cold or the flu, I would take Tylenol for, forever. And last couple of years, I stopped even doing that, and I realized the Tylenol wasn't helping anyway. I felt just as bad with it as without it, so why take it? So I'm terrified of taking anything, even if I was told recently I have high cholesterol and they, if it remains high, they'd have to put me on these statins. I'm afraid to take those because I assume that everything has a side effect. And if there's no side effect, it just means somebody hasn't been sued yet. That's my theory. And I feel like I should mention that I'm recording this in the context of when this pandemic is hitting and, people are getting the vaccines and there's this, trying to fight the misinformation about the vaccines are not healthy. I don't know. I mean, it's a new kind of vaccine and we don't know what the long-term effects will be, but I think the thought was better to deal with the long-term effects 5 years from now than the death thing today. And that's my vote. So I got the vaccine. I advocate getting the vaccine. I got the Pfizer vaccine. And I hate to say this, but I'm going to say this. I'm glad it was the Pfizer because of the three that were offered, Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. Frankly, Pfizer is the one that sounds the most Jewish. I'm Jewish. I don't know. Maybe there's a kinship. I feel like maybe they have my back. I don't know. I don't even think Pfizer is Jewish. In fact, I think it's German. I think the company that the BioNTech, that might be a German company. Either way. I don't know. It felt the most Jewish to me, so I'm glad that's the one I got. Yeah, this notion of, well, just because your mom's an alcoholic, that doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. Listen, I think the other thing too is that because I saw the consequences of what my mom went through, the multiple hospitalizations and the seeing what it's like to have a monkey on your back and just seeing the suffering, I didn't want to do that. So it's, and maybe this other person who's telling me this, perhaps they did not have that same experience. So it's, it could even be a PTSD thing where you say alcoholism and I have all these memories that are triggered, that are not triggered or when this other person is thinking about alcohol. That could be the issue too, so it's, and maybe they have their own thing, whatever it is, that I have, maybe it's laser tag. Maybe something terrible happened to this person when they were playing laser tag. And they're saying, to me, why don't you, just because your mom's an alcoholic, that doesn't mean you're an alcoholic. And then I say, yeah, I don't feel like drinking. I'd rather just play laser tag. And then the other person is like, you shut your mouth. Get off my back, man. You weren't there. There were only 10 of us. And we were surrounded. And they were all middle schoolers. We should have won. We should have gotten the high scores, and we didn't. You don't know what you're talking about. So stand down, mister. Stand down. That's entirely plausible, right? Entirely plausible. I'm walking back and forth at the office where I work. There is a vending machine that has not been refilled or touched in a year. There is a Snickers bar that is there. And I will be honest with you, I could eat that Snickers bar, that year-old Snickers bar that somehow is technically still edible. That's the other thing. I'm getting so neurotic now about foods. Like, I can't even enjoy salmon because now they're saying that salmon isn't healthy because it has all the plastic in it, which is frustrating because I thought that was the one healthy thing I was doing. It has gotten to the point where the only time I feel like I'm being healthy almost is when I'm eating Oreo cookies. Sure, it's all artificial stuff that was, constructed in a lab. But I guess at least I know the kind of poison that I'm putting in my mouth, whereas with everything else, it's got microplastics or whatever. Microplastics. I don't know what to do against that. Other than I can't drink water out of a plastic bottle now. Fortunately, this LaCroix, this is an aluminum can, so that's a different kind of poison, right? That's going to kill me a different way than the microplastic. Is there microaluminum? Is that a thing? I bet that's a thing too. Third swig of LaCroix, which sounds like it could be a song. Taking a third swig of LaCroix, a third swig of LaCroix. What is this podcast about? I don't know, oh boy, oh, third swig of LaCroix. Hey! It is better to record this podcast while not driving or walking. That way I can focus 100% on the nothing that I'm talking about. That's not true. I'm talking about something. These are important topics to discuss. "25% chance that the son of an alcoholic will be an alcoholic." That's statistics, my friends. And there could be a genetic component. They don't know, but there could be a genetic component. I'm super addicted to sugar, I'll tell you that. I think I'm addicted to stand-up comedy, which might be worse for me than the alcoholism. Sitting there at a dingy open mic at 11:30 at night, performing in front of 3 other people, losing faith in myself with every passing second. How is that healthier than alcohol? I think we can make a legitimate argument that the alcoholics are healthier than the stand-up comedians. Sure. The alcohol, that only damages the liver. Stand-up comedy, after one of those sets, my entire body feels like it's on fire. My entire body. Stand-up comedians, we get cirrhosis of the body. I probably shouldn't be screaming into the mic. Probably not a good idea. Probably not a good idea. Now, at some point, I got to figure out a way to make this podcast an hour. At some point, that I think has to happen. Because I want there to be sponsors. I want this podcast to be sponsored by something. I don't know what company would want me to be their sponsor. Or no, would want to be the sponsor for me. I guess it would be a company that is selling something specifically to depressed, nerdy people. Probably the company that makes those Starships that I was talking about. Eagle Moss. Oh, God. That'd be great to get them as a sponsor. Sponsored by Eagle Moss. Buy our model Starships. Stare at them alone while you cry. Yeah, I doubt they're going to want me now as their sponsor after that. Our models are beautiful, unlike love. Our models are fantastic. You know what's not? The chance that you will find a one true love. Eagle Moss. Eagle Moss. The closest thing you'll have. Eagle Moss. Eagle Moss. The only way that you can actually say, without lying, that you have models in your apartment. There we go. There it is. There's the out.